What's the worst type of music fan? Stans, the people who are hyper obsessed with one specific artist. The worst ones are the Swifties, but it's not just the Taylor Swift fans. It's really any artist that has a hyper obsessive fan base that treats the artist like they're some sort of religious prophet. Oh yeah, I don't really like Drake that much. The fuck you just say about Drizzy? All right, man. I gotta put Stans into the annoying tier. Acoustic guitar guy. You know, whenever you go to a party and there's that one guy who feels the need to pull out their acoustic guitar and start playing it for everyone? Yeah, unless you're the second coming of Art Garfunkel or some shit, put the guitar away, man. And yeah, okay, I guess there's some very specific situations where it is okay to pull out your guitar, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm at a party, I don't want to listen to fucking Randy over here playing their acoustic guitar, so I gotta put this into the annoying tier. Music debaters. These are the people that are going to be like, actually, I think that Nas has a better case than MF Doom in the GOAT conversation because he had a greater cultural impact. Or you have some people that are going to be like, Anthrax actually doesn't belong in the thrash metal big 4 because they fucking suck. And yeah, sometimes these conversations can get a little bit goofy, but it's fun. I like having these types of conversations. Usually people who are getting in these sorts of GOAT debates or stuff like that for music, it's just people who are really passionate about music. They're just having a good time shooting the shit. I gotta put music debaters into the mostly chill tier. The only thing holding it back from the top chill tier, sometimes people take it a little bit too seriously. I mean, if you're sitting here arguing about who is on the Mount Rushmore of 80s thrash metal guitarists, like, it's not really that serious, so you don't really need to take it that seriously. Music theory experts, and I would say that most musicians fit into this category, and occasionally it can get a little bit pedantic where you'll have people be like, oh, this song sucks because it's only the same 4 chords and a 4/4 time signature. Yeah, I don't really give a shit. But yeah, outside of that, music theory people have such a wealth of knowledge about music, and it's always really interesting to hear a musician's perspective on a song because they always are able to find things that you had no idea of, you didn't even notice it before. So I gotta put music theory experts into the chill tier. Edgelords. These are the people who are going to be like, oh, you're playing Metallica right now? That's some pussy shit. Put on some Burzum. You know what I mean? The type of people where you couldn't play an ABBA song around them because they'll be like, oh, you're fucking soft, brother. You know what I mean? You can't win with these people. You always have to listen to the heaviest, most controversial shit. Otherwise, they're just going to give you heat for it. And I'm not talking about people who just like listening to really heavy music. That's fine. But like, I'm talking about people who are going to give you shit if you aren't listening to the heaviest, most hardcore shit all the time. So I got to put edgelords into the annoying tier. People who blast music 24/7. All right, there is a time and a place. Okay, if it's Friday or Saturday night, you're having people over, then yeah, blast music, okay? I'm talking about the people who are just constantly, all day, every day, blasting music all the time. If it's your neighbor or your roommate, they're just forcing you to listen to their music. It's super annoying. I gotta put this into the annoying tier, and it is especially annoying if their music sucks. Okay, normally I wouldn't judge people for what music they like because you like what you like, but if you're forcing me to listen to it, then yeah, it's a problem. Casuals, and this is pretty much the vast majority of the population. You know, people who are not really super into music. They're not going to go in any deep dives down any specific genre. They mostly will just listen to kind of like stuff that would be on the radio or whatever people happen to be playing around them. And I gotta say, casuals are chill. Like, I never really have any issues with casuals. The only thing is, if you're going to be like, if you have the aux and you're hanging out with casuals, yeah, you're not going to want to throw on Trout Mask Replica or some crazy shit because they're probably not going to be into it. They'll be like, what the fuck are you making me listen to right now? But yeah, for the most part, casuals are pretty chill. Basic music fans, and this is a little bit different than the casuals because basic music fans are definitely more into music than casuals. They do know quite a bit of music, but it's mostly stuff that is either currently popular or the classics. Yeah, I gotta put basic music fans into the chill tier. They have good taste in music. I mean, even if it is the most like popular stuff, I mean, that stuff is popular for a reason. It's good. So the basic music fans, if you give them the aux, they're gonna play good music. Too cool for you music fans, the tryhards. These are types of people where you have to watch out what you play around them because if you play the wrong artist, they're going to be like, what are you listening to, bro? This shit's corny as fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't just listen to whatever you want around these people because there's certain artists, I guess, that are just not cool or whatever. And if you play it around them, they will give you shit for it. So yeah, I got to put the too cool fans into the annoying tier because honestly, I would rather be cringe and having a good time than be cool and bored. You know what I mean? Hipsters, and I guess this is sort of an outdated subculture at this point. I don't even know if hipsters are still a thing anymore, but they have gotten made fun of so much. To be fair, there is a lot of material you can make fun of, whether it's their fashion choices or the obsession with microbreweries and stuff like that, but I actually don't think they're that bad. I'm gonna put them into the mostly chill tier. Honestly, pretty much every hipster I've actually met has been a pretty chill person. I mean, really, what is the worst thing you can say about hipsters? Yeah, maybe a little bit cringe, maybe a little bit pretentious at times, but for the most part, they actually were pretty chill. Music snobs, the type of people who make music their entire personality and they have a superiority complex about the music they've listened to. Congratulations, you opened up Spotify and you pressed a button on great music that other people made. That doesn't make you special, okay? You just listen to the music. You did not make that music. So yeah, I gotta put music snobs into the annoying tier. Old heads, the type of music fans who are stuck in the past, pretty much only listen to the same music they listened to as a kid. A lot of the times, old heads are going to be the types of people like, oh, modern music fucking sucks. Everything that they make nowadays is trash. But then you ask them to list off some current artists that they're referencing when they say that, and they can't go any further than like, oh, well, there's Drake and Taylor Swift. It's like, okay, so if you don't really have any frame of reference for current artists, you can't really claim that modern music sucks if you just don't really listen to any modern music. But yeah, I got to put old heads into the mixed bag tier because sometimes they can be super chill if they're just like a music historian and they have all of this knowledge about old music and they can give you these great recommendations. Those type of old heads are super chill. It's just the only time it gets annoying is when they're like super judgmental about modern music. Just, oh, all modern music sucks. Everything is just auto-tuned crap now. It's like, okay, buddy. Contrarians, these are people who always have to go against the grain. Any artist that gets too popular, that's just going to make the contrarians dislike that artist. Or if they have an artist they really like that is kind of an underground artist, as soon as that artist starts getting more popular, oh, they sold out. Their old music was way better. I'm actually going to put contrarians into the mixed bag tier because sometimes it is nice to get a different perspective, and I appreciate it when people can form their own opinions and not just agree with the consensus on everything. But it does start to get annoying when you're so contrarian that you have to disagree with the popular consensus on pretty much everything, and you always just have to be different. Rock/metal purists, people who are super into rock and metal and act like that is the absolute pinnacle of music. And to be fair, I can kind of sympathize with this a little bit because yeah, rock and metal are my favorite genres of music, so I do get where they're coming from a little bit. However, it does start to get annoying when you have rock and metal purists who feel a need to put down other genres, especially pop music a lot of times, and that's when it starts to get really annoying. I gotta put rock and metal purists into the mixed bag tier. They're super chill whenever it's just people who are super into rock and metal. They have all sorts of knowledge and information about it. They can give you great music recommendations, but it also has an annoying side to it when you get into people who are kind of elitist about it and act like rock and metal are superior to all other genres. Gatekeepers, and I'm specifically talking about the type of gatekeeper where, let's say you wore a Nirvana shirt. If a gatekeeper saw you wearing that and they had no idea who you are, they would just come up to you off the street, name 3 songs. You know what I mean? Like the types of people were like, oh, you're not a real fan unless you like blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's just people who always have to gatekeep being a fan of a certain band or artist. I got to put this into the annoying tier. Retired emos, and these are people who at this point are now probably in their 30s. They're just normal everyday people at this point, but back in the day they used to be into that whole mall emo scene kid type thing, and yeah, they might seem normal now, but if you played a My Chemical Romance or a Paramore song or something like that around them, the retired emos will still go ape shit. That inner emo from back in the day will come out of them. It still exists deep down within them. Yeah, I gotta put retired emos into the chill tier. They're super chill, honestly. By the way, I know a lot of people make fun of like that whole mall emo era, and I get it. It's easy to make fun of. But you can't tell me a lot of those emo bands back then don't absolutely rip. Yeah, they had a lot of good shit. Like they really did. Festival bros, people who really like going to music festivals, whether it's Coachella, Rolling Loud, or whatever. I mean, I can't really even say anything bad about festival bros because for the most part, it's just people trying to have a good time. So yeah, I'll put them into the mostly chill tier. Yeah, sometimes there are people who go to festivals who are maybe a little bit mildly douchey at times, or maybe they're not super into the music and they're mostly just there for the party and for like the atmosphere of being at a festival. I mean, I don't really see what's wrong with that though. It's again, it's just people trying to have a good time. Some of them are kind of annoying, but for the most part, yeah, it's just people having fun. Aggressive mosh pit dudes. And look, mosh pits are totally fun. They're cool. But there's always that one guy who just goes way too overboard with it and gets way too aggressive. There is a huge difference between going in the pit and just having a good time versus that one guy who just has to be a badass. They have to be the tough guy in the mosh pit and they're just going out of their way to hurt other people. Yeah, at that point, you're just being an asshole. So I got to put these people into the worst tier. Conformists, people who don't really form their own opinions or their own taste in music. They kind of just listen to whatever will help them fit in. And I got to put them into the mixed bag tier because, I mean, I can't really put them any lower than that because, I mean, I guess they're kind of harmless. They're not really actively doing anything that's particularly annoying, but I can't go any higher than that because it just bugs me a little bit when people don't form their own opinions on things. Like, just have your own fucking opinion, man. People who just don't like music. And yeah, these people do exist. They're very rare, but every once in a while you will find someone who just actually doesn't like music. And I'm not just talking about casuals who are just not really into it. No, there's people who actively dislike music. I don't even understand that at all. It's almost like an alien. Like, how could you not like music? I could understand not liking different art forms. Like, okay, movies, fair enough. You don't like video games, totally understandable. But music, like, how do you not like music? I don't know. It's very weird to me. I still got to put this into the mixed bag tier though, because I mean, yeah, it's harmless. You're not really doing anything that's actively annoying. Like, okay, you don't have to like music. That's fair. But I don't know. It's just so weird to me. Like, how could you not like music? People who say that rap isn't music. For example, this dude, Ben Shapiro.
I have the musical case against rap, and then I'll get to the cultural case. It's not actually a form of music. It's a form of rhythmic speech.
And yeah, I'm not sure if there's even still a lot of people out there who unironically think that rap isn't music. But anyone who still thinks that, yeah, I got to put this into the worst tier just because it is so fucking stupid to say that. And also, I find it a little bit questionable. Like, why are you really saying that? Quote unquote real rap fans. And by this, I mean the types of people who will say stuff like, oh yeah, I hate rap music, but I really like Eminem and Tom MacDonald. Which, by the way, if you're not familiar with Tom MacDonald, he is the guy who made classic hit songs such as White Boys, Politically Incorrect, Proud to Be a Problem, and Facts featuring Ben Shapiro. And for the record, I am not lumping in Eminem with Tom MacDonald, okay? Very different artists, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The types of people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I love Eminem and Tom MacDonald, but I hate rap music. I wonder what they have in common. So yeah, this goes into the worst tier. Music nerds, people who have listened to thousands and thousands of albums and at this point essentially have an encyclopedic knowledge of music history. For example, this dude, Anthony Fantano, and if you don't know who that is, he's pretty much the biggest music critic on the internet. You would be super hard pressed to find any album that he hasn't listened to. So that's the type of person I'm talking about when I say music nerds. And yeah, I gotta put music nerds into the chill category just because they pretty much just love music. They're hobbyists. They're not usually too snobby about it. They just have an endless amount of recommendations for you, and they're a great person to give the aux to. Check out this tier list where I rank the worst types of movie fans.